This is Evil Dead, the game. So be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So this game is absolutely fantastic. It is beyond my wildest expectations for what an Evil Dead game could be. Really, like I honestly had really mixed expectations going into this, but it is an absolute blast to play. So what are we getting here on Series X? Well, it looks like it's going to be a dynamic 4K resolution at 60 FPS, and it is smooth. I haven't seen any performance hiccups or issues. This thing just plays, looks good, feels great, and is just fantastic. So this is an asymmetrical multiplayer experience, so it's 4 players working together versus 1 player. So the 1 player is essentially spawning the enemies that are attacking you, and you as a group of 4 have to take on these threats. That's kind of the game. It's very well done, and I think just an absolute delight to play. So the game itself is very set in terms of what you're doing. You need to go and collect the 3 pages of the book, then you need to compile the book, gather the special knife, then you need to get rid of the demons, and then after that you have to protect the pages of the book for a set amount of time. It may sound repetitive, but it actually really isn't, as every single world and environment you play is completely different, and every match is unique and exciting. It really is just an absolute blast. So this is the core of the game, the multiplayer. Now there is a single player component that is present where you do a few missions. They're actually kind of difficult and a little annoying, and they're short and they just take pieces of the multiplayer and they turn them into, like, you know, little bits of story. I don't know. I don't really care too much for them. It's something to do. You can unlock, I believe it's Pablo that way, but yeah, no, that's really not what the game's about. So it is about this multiplayer stuff. Past that, you can choose to play the game online with others, or you can also do local matches with AI. So there are different options if you don't want to just play online against other people. But again, the real magic of this is competing with other players. It really is a lot of fun to get a good team going, to feel the challenge of the enemy battling you. It's really, really cool. So there's also a full skill system behind the different characters, like you level this Ash, or you level a different Ash, or maybe you level Kelly from, you know, Ash vs. Evil Dead, the TV show. It really is distinct. There are a lot of different characters that are present, and it just really does capture the spirit of the film franchise. That also has a TV series that kind of wrapped that up. It really is just spectacular. I really do love this game. It is a lot of fun to play. So with that element of, hey, you know, you've got to, like, get characters that have levels and you improve them and everything like that, there is a bit of a mad dash where everyone tries to get the character they want between matches, and that could be a little annoying to deal with because you can't have, like, duplicates. And I also did not like the fact that after every match you have to re-invite your pals. So if I'm playing with a friend, I have to re-invite them after every match in order to play again. And you know, it's not a big deal, but it's kind of just like a little bit of an inconvenience having to do that every time. So there is actual depth here. You know, you level up your characters, you level up your abilities, you improve, and you keep fighting and you keep doing different scenarios, and I'm not bored of it at all. And I've played tons of matches, and matches are like 20-30 minutes long, and it works. It really does just work. I have, you know, such a great time going around here. And you may look at the map and be like, oh, well, you know, what's so special about the map and stuff? And it's because it's different every time. So these little pieces that you visit, like the Misery Manor, or the Flight, or the Green Witch, you know, you'll see those cross multiple times. But the way the map is combined feels completely distinct every single time you go at it. And I think that's spectacular. And I haven't even talked about like the demon side. I'll get to that. But you know, sometimes it's snowy, sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's just dark, sometimes it's moody, sometimes you can see sometimes it's daytime, sometimes it's nighttime with like a creepy moon glow coming through the trees. It's beautiful. Like, this is way beyond the visual expectations of what I had anticipated for this game. Like, the characters look great, the weapons look great, you get a huge variety of weapons, there's a huge variety of characters, there's different enemies you can fight, there's these incredibly gruesome ending executions that you can unleash. Like, Evil Dead is a gory series. If you haven't watched the movies, I highly suggest you do. If you haven't watched the show, I even more suggest you watch the show. The show is incredible. But, like, the variation here and what you're doing is miraculous. And if they keep supporting this game with additional content, wow, we are in for a real treat on this one. I think the launch content is more than enough. Like, I've really been packing in the hours on this one, you know, doing streams and stuff. And I am absolutely loving this game. It is so cool. It is so gory. It is so gruesome. It really captures the essence of, like, the series. I guess the only thing that I would maybe want more of in regards to capturing the series is some more, like, voice dialogue from the characters. But at the same time, I guess it's kind of good that they're not just sitting there throwing off one-liners. But at the same time, it's kind of what Evil Dead is, right? Lots of crazy one-liners. But I don't know. It really is fun. And it can be challenging, too. Like, you get a good sort of individual that's dealing with the Deadites, like, you can really be in for a challenge. And I think it's just fantastic what they set up here. So obviously we've been talking about and showing off the perspective of, you know, being on the human side, the 4 players. So let's talk a bit about the other side. So that actually is really fun and engaging too, and very tactical. So if you've ever watched Evil Dead, there's sort of this, like, evil essence that's kind of floating around, really sneakily, moving fast. Like, you can't really see it, but you can feel it, and you can, you know, kind of see the effect of it in the air. It's really cool. And they've basically beautifully captured that. You're moving around capturing these, like, instead of this being, you know, kind of what you're seeing here, there'd be like these red dots, like these little orbs. So you're going around collecting these orbs in order to power your abilities. And you're sort of like leveling up every single game. You're like, okay, I need to unlock a boss battle enemy, or a regular sort of deadly skeleton monster, or something like that. You're unlocking these things, and then you're spawning them to attack the other players. Or yourself, you are possessing enemies. Like, you know, like someone, if my fear level gets high or something like that, somebody may come and possess my Ash. Or they may possess, like, you know, another player on our team. I'm not driving, I think the other guy is, and he's not moving anywhere. But, you know, there's these elements of, like, possession, and then you can attack the other players. So it could be an endgame scenario where everybody's distracted, and it's like, oh no, we need this player, and then that player, you know, starts, like, attacking us, and it's like, oh, what are we doing? Or they might possess one of the regular characters, or possess one of the more boss-like enemies. And there's 3 different sets of enemies. So there's the more traditional human Deadites, there's the skeleton-like Deadites with, like, evil Ash, and then there's also the, I guess you would say, like, I would call them basically, like, electric, really kind of disgusting-esque Deadites. See, our enemy guy isn't doing a very good job right now. He's really not attacking us too much, or setting up much of a challenge for us. Which is a bit of an issue, too, because, you know, you want that intensity where they're spawning things and attack you. And they can send out, like, jump scares, or they can have trees attack you, or they can have, like, they can booby trap these little boxes, and these boxes, little Ashes will attack you, or Ash's hand will come up and attack you. And, you know, they've recreated, like, that right there is actually the house from Evil Dead. I mean, we should have maybe went in and taken a look at it. Sorry, I'm just, like, I'm so kind of excited. I'm loving this game. But, like, the board, like, you know, the basement kind of shudders, and it's like a one-to-one recreation. They've recreated so many different areas from, like, the movies and the show, and it's so cool. And I want to also add, and I'm sure you've been hearing this, the music and the atmosphere of this game is spectacular. Like, I believe they've sampled the actual, like, I guess, theme and everything like that from the movies and the show, and it's just like, it's really, really good what they've put together here. The visuals, the performance, the gameplay, they haven't really come across any real bugs or any issues. It just runs perfectly smooth. It looks great. There's crossplay, which I should have mentioned earlier, cross-gen multiplayer. It's just like spectacular. Seriously, like, the audio really makes a lot of this game. Is just like hearing this intense music, but like, look at the different places we've been. And the car driving, the handling is really great. You get these cool perks for different characters. Wow, they absolutely nailed it. I love this game. It is so good. I'm looking forward to playing this for hopefully a very, very long time. I am genuinely shocked. And you might be like thinking, you know, what is this like? What is this game like? And I don't think that there's actually a similar multiplayer experience out there. It's not, like, it's kind of like Friday the 13th, but it's really not. It's kind of like Dead by Daylight, but it's really not. You know, it's kind of like maybe Back 4 Blood or Left 4 Dead, but it really isn't. This is very much its own asymmetrical sort of multiplayer game. And it just works. Like, seriously, you're seeing the setup here where we're, like, attacking these things. You might be like, oh, wow, but, you know, you do this over and over again, it gets boring. No, it really doesn't. The challenge is always different. What happens in the maps is always different. You know, we're doing kind of well here just because I think the person that we're playing against isn't really great at their job, essentially. But, like, which is good for showing the video, if that makes sense. Like, seeing them not really do a good job is actually kind of good for us doing the content here. But, like, it just really, they knocked it out of the park. Seriously, like, I am so beyond blown away by this. Like, I'm a big Evil Dead fan, and I was coming in here expecting, you know, a very average, sort of repetitive small game, but no, they are just granting us like an almost perfect, like, multiplayer experience that you could just waste your life away playing, which is great. Like, it's gory, it's violent, it's distinctly they possessed a car and attacked us with it. A little late for that. But, you know, and it's got, like, both sides. I almost think it's easier to play as, like, the Deadite faction. You know, when I was using them, I was absolutely, like, dominating, and I wasn't even really knowing what I was doing for a number of matches until I got the swing of it. But, you know, if you get the right forces, it can be just downright crazy. And I will take that victory, and we will jump into another match to show off more of this game. Alright, so we got another match here. A little bit of a dark map. I had actually played a match between this one and the last one, but it was snowy again, even though it was dark. I wanted to show off the environment in a different style of biome. Really, that's the biggest thing, so you can see how different it is between snow and maybe, well, we're not seeing rain, but you know what I mean, different time of day. It really is quite varied, and I think that's fantastic because it really does give you the full sense and scope of the series. Hey, it's not always dark, but yeah, a lot of the time it is, because, well, it's Evil Dead. It's a spooky, scary horror series that is also kind of comedic at times, and really dark and gory. Very, very dark and gory. That is the series. So the loading is really, really quick. It's simple to matchmake, almost instant. You know, the core multiplayer game mode, I think, will take you quite far. It's visually quite spectacular. It captures the different characters from all of the Evil Dead experiences quite well. You know, could there be maybe a character or two more? Who's to say, but I think they got the core ones down. I love the, you know, the offering here as a package. I think it just has so much content to it. It's a lot of fun to play. It's very dynamic. If you are expecting like a single player type thing, I mean, sure, you can fight against, you know, the AI and that, but the single player missions aren't really going to take you that far, and they're kind of annoying too, almost, and really wasn't my sort of thing. But I think if you're coming in here and wanting a cool multiplayer setup, you are in for a wild ride that will delight and challenge and intrigue you as you try to deal with the many things going on. And yeah, it's just like it's very straightforward in terms of gameplay and the setup of it. Like look at this large map here. Like there's so much to this, and it's just like it really is completely different every time you go at it. The world is just so filled to the brim with detail too. Like just like the grass, I don't notice any popping as I've been playing. Absolutely none. And then you look at things like this, there's like, you know, the guts and the, you know, the trash and everything like that. But it's also like a responsive world too. Like, you know, if you're in a car, you can smash like the wood of places. You go into these buildings and it's like every room is filled with not just items you're collecting, but smaller items that make these places feel like they've actually been lived in. And I think that is just really spectacular that they were able to create this place that looks cool, feels good to experience, and it's just fun. It really is a blast. Whether I'm here playing with randoms or playing with a pal or maybe even a full group, I think you're going to have just an absolutely delightful time with this game and just be completely blown away by it in every single way. It looks so cool. Seriously, I know I keep going back to that, but I really just was not expecting this level of optimization to it. I mean, like, look at the density here in the forest, and just like the different characters all look really good. I mean, Kelly here has been really well captured. All of the different ashes, you get like an ash for every single game, which makes sense. I mean, the main character. But I think they even balance that well to the point where I'm like, huh, no, they kind of feel like different characters. And if you didn't realize it, each of the characters kind of fits into like a different niche. Some of them are more like attack focused, you know, like a brawler. Some of them are more support characters. And I think you can find a really good level of, I guess, cohesion or strategy if you get a group playing together and you pick like, hey, you're going to be the support with the healing ability, or you're going to be a tank, or we're going to be a group of tanks. Like, there's just a lot you can appreciate as you jump in there. And, you know, as Ash, you can get like the legendary chainsaw hand, or, you know, it just seems like they've really, truly hit the mark. From a perspective of someone that loves Evil Dead, this is a lot of fun. I actually, like, I don't think they have it in here. I'd love to see Ash's daughter pop up. I think that would be so cool if that could be a thing. If you guys are, you know, familiar with the show, I actually quite like that character. She grew on me quite a bit over the course of the series. But, like, you know, even if you're not an Evil Dead fan, like, you don't know who these characters are, you don't even know who Ash is, I think you could still really love this game. I think you can come in here and be like, wow, this is a creepy, gory, intense horror title that has just got these neat characters that I have no idea about. And I think you can still have a ton of fun with it. And I think that in itself is spectacular, that they're able to balance something where it's like, hey, this is just a fun game, regardless of your knowledge of the franchise. You know, gnarly executions too. I really want, if you haven't been seeing the executions or really been paying attention to them, holy. My favorite is like a legendary shovel. That one just freaking, that one tears things apart. But, you know, it's like, it's almost just perfect any way you look at it, whether you're the more intense fan or somebody that's like has no idea. I'm actually hoping that maybe this game inspires people to take a look at the Evil Dead. Seriously, the movies are great, the show is phenomenal. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you jump in and have fun with Evil Dead. This is a really good experience. It comes, seriously, like, just highly recommended by me. You know, the balancing of skills and abilities and items you collect, and the different balance of like, hey, how do we set up a scenario so that we are more effective as a team? And it's just really neat, the different challenges and the different areas you go and the darkness you have to deal with. And the battling against the Evil Dead presence, I think, is just great. And it's fun whether you're doing the cooperative survivor thing, or if you're going at it from the perspective of, hey, I'm being that monster spawning the Deadites. Oh, this is from the show, isn't it, too, where they do the, oh, that's what this is. Sorry, it's just, they really did capture the magic of this franchise, and it makes me want to rewatch everything all over again. Not like I need an excuse to, but yeah, great game. Absolutely fantastic.